After British forces captured and occupied New York in August 1776, General George Washington, commander of the Continental Army, needed information about troop locations and movements of the British forces. First Lieutenant Nathan Hale of the Connecticut Militia volunteered to infiltrate enemy lines. Hale was later discovered by British loyalists and hanged as a traitor and spy by the British Army. Still desperate to gain information that would allow his army to effectively fight the British and regain New York, Washington appointed Major Benjamin Talmadge as head of the Continental Army's Secret Service. In 1778, Talmadge established a small group of trustworthy men and women from his hometown of Setauket, Long Island, to become what we now know to be the Culper Spy Ring. Because so little was known about this spy ring, the question many have asked is, what impact did the Culper spy ring actually have on the outcome of the Revolutionary War? Unknown to have actually existed until documents were uncovered in the 1930s, the Culper spy ring was the best-kept secret of the Revolutionary War for nearly a century. The ring provided Washington with key British troop movements, fortifications, and plans in and around the New York area. During its 5 years of operation, the spy ring was so effective that even General Washington was unaware of who all the members were. Benjamin Talmadge needed people he could trust completely, so he recruited mainly his hometown friends from Setauket, Long Island. He relied heavily on childhood friends Abraham Woodhull and Caleb Brewster. The Culper spy ring consisted of approximately 20 civilians from the village of Setauket, an area on the north shore of modern Long Island. Benjamin Talmadge's main informants were friends from school, including Austin Rowe, Caleb Brewster, Abraham Woodhull, and Anna Strong. Another key contributor was Robert Townsend, a coffee shop owner and merchant who also posed as a society journalist. He gained access to critical information shared at New York social events. Austin Rowe was a tavern owner and acted as a courier, bringing information passed to him by Robert Townsend in New York. Upon returning to Setauket, Austin Rowe would hide the messages on Abraham Woodhull's farm. Abraham Woodhull would then take the information and leave it on one of the many coves along the water's edge. He would then notify Anna Smith Strong, and she would hang laundry on her clothesline, indicating which cove the message was in with a black petticoat. Caleb Brewster could see Anna Smith Strong's laundry from his whaleboat and would know which cove to go and retrieve the documents. Caleb would row across the Long Island Sound, a body of water between Long Island and Connecticut, and deliver the documents to Benjamin Talmadge. Benjamin Talmadge then took the documents directly to General George Washington. The Culper spy ring used disinformation, fake names, invisible ink, and coded messages to communicate and pass on information. Benjamin Talmadge went by the code name of John Bolton. Abraham Woodhull went by the name of Samuel Culper. And Robert Townsend used the code name Culper Jr. Benjamin Talmadge invented a numerical substitution system to represent informants and places called the Culper Code Book. One of the group's most notable successes came in 1780 when they uncovered the British plan to ambush the newly arrived French army in Rhode Island. Upon learning of the British plan through the Culper spy ring, George Washington moved his troops into Rhode Island, forcing the British to recall their troops back to protect New York. Had the ambush succeeded, it would have severely damaged the alliance between the French and the American patriots. Another major achievement of the Culper spy ring was when it uncovered information involving the treasonous correspondence between Benedict Arnold, commander of the West Point Fort, and John Andre, chief intelligence officer for the British. Benedict Arnold was conspiring to give the British control over the Army fort at West Point, which would have been a terrible loss to the American military and cut off their supply route up the Hudson River. Major John Andre was eventually captured and hung as a spy in October of 1780, while Benedict Arnold escaped to the British side. Very little was ever known about the Culper spy ring until letters between Caleb Brewster and General George Washington were discovered in the 1930s. That means for almost 100 years after the Revolutionary War, the secrets and the identities of the Culper spy ring remained a secret and were never revealed. In fact, Culper Jr.'s identity was not revealed until 1939, when historian Morton Pennypacker noticed a fascinating resemblance between the handwriting of Culper Jr. and Robert Townsend. Since that time, many facts and documents have been found and authenticated that prove the existence of the Culper spy ring and the impact it had in assisting General George Washington and the Continental Army in winning the war and defeating the British forces.